Are you scared? I am you.
Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our show, Haunting the Afterlife Radio. I am your host, Susie, and with me is my fellow fabulous host, Brian. How are you, Brian?
I am doing good. How are you doing?
I am doing fabulous. I am so excited for tonight's show. What about you?
I can't wait to talk to our guest. She's from a place where I would love to go and visit and even meet up with her and take her tour.
Yeah, that would be, oh my God, that would be like a dream come true. But um, let's get started. Who is ready to travel to Tasmania's most haunted, Willow Court Asylum? Tonight we present the amazingly fabulous Sharmaine, owner of Tasmania's most haunted. She is going to tell us all about this fascinatingly haunted location, including visual and audio spectaculars. So turn down your lights, hold on to something dear, and be prepared to be creepily amazed. But first, just a few little things as always. If you're in the chat, just make sure and be respectful to everybody. Feel free to mingle with other chatters, and please, please feel free to ask our guest, Charmaine, questions or Brian or I questions. We will be having a 5-minute break, as always, at the top of the hour, so you can grab yourself coffee or whatever. And without further delay, let me go ahead and introduce our fabulous guest, Charmaine. How are you, sweetie?
Hello, hi everyone. How's everybody? Hello, can you hear me?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, really well. A bit cold here in Tassie compared to what you guys are getting at the moment, but hey, that's Tassie. Yeah, pretty much got a fair bit of snow going on down south of of this island. So I love it though.
Well, you know what, being it's almost 100 degrees here right now, and I know where Brian is, it's over 100. We're probably a little jelly of you right now, kind of missing the cold weather, the snow.
Yeah, no, I'm used to it. Yeah, I'm pretty much a local. I've born and bred here in Tasmania, so I don't think I'll ever leave.
Can you tell our listeners and chatters a little bit about Tasmania?
Yeah, well, Tasmania is well, it is the most southernest state of Australia. We are detached from Australia, but we're still an Australian state. So Tasmania probably only has a population of around 500,000. We have lots of national parks in Tasmania, so also lots of convict history here. Probably a lot of people, if they know of Port Arthur. Port Arthur is in Tasmania, so that's probably an iconic destination that people may know about. So that's pretty much what Tasmania is known for, is Port Arthur and the convict history. So that's pretty much Tasmania in full. So
we have a comment in chat from Sacramento Paranormal Investigators. My daughter visited our Australia. She said it was beautiful, and so is Ireland. Do you enjoy living there, Sharmaine?
I certainly do. Yeah, it's very much country style of living. It's nowhere like, if you've, it's not the hustle and bustle of big city towns or anything like that. It's very well relaxed. Like, for example, where I live, in half an hour in nearly every direction, north, south, east, west, I can go visit a national park. I can go visit a beach. I can go visit snow. So everything, is only like, say, half an hour to an hour's drive from where everyone sort of lives, So to visit, sort of 4 different types of, locations in Tassie, it's pretty cool.
That sounds perfect. Seriously. Yes. So, can you tell us a little bit also about the paranormal community there?
In Tassie, it's very, very small, because we are just a little island state. So there's not a lot of paranormal teams, not a lot of tours here in Tassie as well. So, I'm hoping to, build that here, because I'm only sort of new to the paranormal myself. Okay, I haven't been in this business all that long, so I can see that there is a market for it, statewide, where we only have a couple of tours here to do in Tassie, and they're only at the south of the island. So I'm hoping to build what I have and hopefully go statewide one day. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Only the odd handful of teams, which pretty much, I guess, keep to themselves. So very small, but we all get along.
Well, that's good, Yeah. So a handful of teams. So are there any, or is there a lot of like residential cases that you and a handful of teams get to work on, or is that kind of not really happening right now?
Yeah, that doesn't happen here in Tassie. So mainly the teams that are in Tasmania pretty much just concentrate on locations. There's a few, or take on sort of the local hotels. That's pretty popular with a few of the paranormal teams here. They like to investigate some local hotels. It seems nearly every hotel in Tasmania is just about haunted. But yeah, I don't hear a lot of them doing residential work at all. So, and that's one thing I don't do either. I don't do residential.
So what if you got an email from somebody saying, I think my house is haunted or whatever? Like, how do you respond to that?
Yeah, there's a group of, there is some like psychic mediums and that here in Tasmania. So I'd sort of refer them to them. Or there's an actual, it's called Access Paranormal. It's an Australian site run by Beth Darlington. I would ask them to contact her. She has a list of, people that actually do that type of work. So I think you may know Beth anyway. But yeah. So I'd refer them to her. And as I said, she's got a list of people that do residential work. So that's what my answer would be to that sort of question.
Jody in chat asked, what about Port Arthur in Tasmania? That would be a good one to do.
Like Port Arthur is a very historic site in Tasmania. So once again, convict history. They do run ghost tours down there. So their tours is basically just they walk around the site and tell you ghost stories of an evening. I do believe they do paranormal investigation tours as well, once a month down at the site, so which goes for a couple of hours, 2 to 3 hours, I think. I have been on a couple of their ghost tours, and their investigations many years ago, but I haven't been back for a couple of years. I go down there quite regularly just to wander around the site because it's amazing, Port Arthur. It's amazing site to visit. If you're ever in Tasmania, you definitely have to go to Port Arthur.
How does do you have natives there, sort of like Australia with the Aborigines, New Zealand with the Maoris? I know they are very, very spiritual and very, very hush-hush about the spirit realm. Anything like that in Tasmania?
No, there's not actually. We do have the Aboriginal community as well, but nothing. They don't sort of come out and sort of say that's in regards to their
Yeah, it's taboo. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, we don't have that at all. So that's good.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the paranormal. I know you said you're new at it and everything, but like when you were young, did you ever have any experiences or anything like that?
No, I didn't have anything sort of growing up. I mean, I always believed in it, but just never pursued it or did anything like that. So it wasn't until, I'd go on your local ghost tours everywhere I'd go and visit. But it was only up until probably a couple of years ago I went on my sort of first paranormal investigation tour at Willow Court, actually. So I was there with a friend and we just sort of went along and, I pretty much, that was the first time I'd actually had my own experience. I actually witnessed an orb visually, for the first time. So for that to happen on my first tour, I was pretty well like, wow. Not only did I see that one that night, but I also saw another one probably about 5 minutes later. Also witnessed a door barrel bolt unlock as well on the same tour. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. So that was pretty cool. So pretty much from that day forward, I pretty much got hooked. So I just kept going back to these tours, week after week after week. So, just to find out more, I just needed to find out more. And, and then probably, 12 months later, the owner could see how much passion that I had, for the site and the paranormal. He actually asked me to be part of the team, become a tour guide, and I surely jumped at that. I said, yes, please. And so then, I started working there for Tasmania's Most Haunted back then. So, and the owner was from Sydney, so he would travel down quite a lot, but it was starting to take its toll a little bit. So, as I said, he could see the passion in me. He offered me the business to take on the business, and I jumped at it, and nearly probably about 2 years coming up, I've owned the business now. So, so that's pretty much how I sort of became involved in the whole paranormal. So
I think that's so fascinating, especially when you're talking about having this passion, but yet you didn't really have any experiences growing up, because normally people talk about it was their childhood experiences or their youth experiences that got them passionate about the paranormal, but that didn't happen to you. So this is really fascinating to me.
Yeah, I often hear and talk to other, paranormal investigators, and they've had it since they were a child, or lived with family members that also, witnessed or experienced something. And where me, I've sort of never, I've been told that I have, abilities, psychic abilities and that, but I just always have my guard up and I just won't open up to it, I'm loving it now. And I wish I had started, a lot earlier in life, but I'm enjoying it like you wouldn't believe. It's, if I don't have a tour on of a week at Willow Court, I'm sitting at home on a Saturday night thinking, oh, gee, what am I going to do tonight? I get so bored because I just want to get back up there, So, yeah.
Now, do part of the proceeds go back to restoring Willow Court?
Well, the tours where I actually I operate tours in two sections of Willow Court. One section privately owned, so there is a couple here in Tasmania that own some buildings of Willow Court, because when it closed down, most of the site went up for sale, and the council kept ownership of some of the buildings as well. So part of the buildings that I use are privately owned, part of them are still run by the council. So I pay a fee to use these buildings. So where that money goes, is, I guess, up to the owner's discretion on where they put the money. But so I mean, the privately owned owners do do a lot of work on the buildings as well. So because, it's 189 years old, this asylum. So if you can imagine a lot of the buildings nowadays there's not a lot standing. They are very old and run down and, need a little bit of money spent on them. But I'm hoping that I'm contributing towards the restoration of these buildings as well by, hosting these tours, there on a...
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, as I've seen historic buildings being torn down, there was one in Reno that apparently the Rat Pack, if you know who that was, Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis.
Yes, yep.
And they would go to this one hotel basically all the time. And it was called the Mapes. And it went into disrepair. They closed it, and eventually they demolished it. And
wow.
all that history just absolutely gone.
Yeah. And unfortunately that has happened here as well, with the asylum. It was probably around between 30 to 40 buildings in the asylum, from wards to hospitals and the alike. But now there's probably about 12 that still remain. Yeah. So, and a lot of them are abandoned. So, the ones that I operate with the council, they're just slowly, getting other people in there to make different uses for the site, which will be good to see. It'll actually reactivate. It's what they're calling a reactivation of Willow Court. So, there's a few different businesses that will be making Willow Court their home soon in the next, 6 to 12 months. So hopefully, that will reactivate the site, get the buildings more, usable, get people in there. So at the moment, I'm the only one that's operating anything out of some of these buildings. So before I come on board, they were just, sitting there not doing anything. So, especially with the council ones, to be given this opportunity now to be able to run these tours in some of these buildings that have been abandoned for, 20 years.
Right.
It's pretty, I'm pretty excited, to have that opportunity at the moment to do it.
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating and amazing.
Now, do these buildings actually have utilities, electricity? No?
No,
So everything.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much everything is no electricity, no power. No running water, no amenities. So pretty much you walk in, it's completely dark. It's if you have a look at the picture on your channel now, that's what we call that's a maximum security ward for males. So if you can imagine walking into that massive 2-story building, late at night, complete darkness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've got one way in, one way out.
Wow.
Individual rooms there because, as I said, these were for the criminally insane male patients of Willow Court. So, but I just love the Gothic, architecture of the building.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I remember when we first started talking everything, I went out and looked up and found some pictures of it, and they used to have a clock tower that unfortunately that was torn down.
Yes.
And it was actually, if you do go out, take a look at the website, Willow Court Asylum, and look at some of the historical pictures of this location. And it was a beautiful location.
Certainly was, yeah. As I said, a lot of the buildings are now gone. Because it was built back in 1827, so it even predates Port Arthur. So a lot of people don't know that, but predates Port Arthur. So as I said, it's, about 189 years old now. It closed down in the year 2000. So it's been that's 19 years ago. So. Yeah, and a lot of the wards were actually demolished. A lot of the older wards, like that building that you're talking about, the clock tower, even though it looked, beautiful, but they just sort of said the conditions inside a lot of the older buildings, were just not meant for, for patients. So they were demolished, and new buildings were built on another section of the site, which is what they used to sort of just say across the river. And that became known as Royal Daunt Hospital. So that became the area for new wards, new buildings, new conditions. So, a lot of them were transferred from these older buildings into the newer ones, I guess, better heating and, better floors. Just better conditions, I guess, yeah.
And, sorry, go ahead, Bri.
I was just going to ask, how many people do you normally take on a tour? You said that you actually break up into sections or groups. So what's the maximum number of people that you run a tour with?
At the moment, the maximum is 30. Okay, so so I don't take any more than 30 people. So that gives us 2 groups of 15.
Okay.
So most of the buildings are quite big, so you can spread out. So, so 15's a nice number to take a group on your own through these buildings. Yeah, I mean, I could take more because there's people, always wanting to come on tours. I can't keep up with the demand at the moment. Willow Court's just sort of coming a little hot spot in Tassie. I have people flying down from all over Australia purely just to come to the tours. I just can't keep up with the demand at the moment, and I can't take any more than 30. You got to think of you want to make sure that all your guests are having their own little experiences and that. So you get too many people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And the more people you get, the more chance to corrupt the audio and stuff. And yes.
Yeah, that's it.
And from our talkings that you provide most of the equipment.
Yes.
But the people coming on tours can bring their own if they have it. Correct?
Yes, they certainly can. I had a guest the other night. He brought along a fleur. So that's one thing I don't have in my paranormal pack at the moment is a flare. So he brought his along. And it looks like he's captured an actual figure in one of the buildings. So I'm just waiting for him. Yeah, I know. So I'm waiting for him to send that through. Yeah, so that will be awesome to see.
And that was another question. I just thought of that. And when you said that, do you have like an archive where if any of your guests have captured something to send to you?
Yeah, I do have another, like it's a Facebook group. So basically people that have been on tour, it's just this one particular group for people to come and pop their, photos, any experiences they had, because, I used to sort of just archive it myself on my computer, but then, I thought, no, I might just start up a group on Facebook for everyone to join who's been on tour. And then there's the one place where everyone can go have a look at people's, photos. They can comment themselves, so
right.
yeah. So that's becoming quite popular as well. So it gives everybody the opportunity to have a look as well, not just myself, so gets everyone involved.
And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I posted that link in chat for you guys, so check it out.
Thank you. Yep.
So it's like having an online guest book, and they can put their personal experiences down if they had any.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Correct. Yep. And upload any photos or, any questions. So it's really good. It's a a one-stop shop, to see what other guests have experienced there, what they've captured, and so it's really good. So I recommend that people should do that run tours. Just have that one sort of group page where everyone can just comment on their own experiences. So
right.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a fabulous idea.
It is.
I have a few questions. So for people who want to possibly come and tour, but they don't have equipment, you said you offer equipment. What kind of equipment do you offer for them to experiment with?
Okay, so we have all the gadgets like K2s, Ghost Meter Pros, Laser Grid, Ovulus, REM Pod, spirit boxes, divining rods, digital voice recorders, full spectrum cameras. What else? We have some of the Paranologies, 360 periscopes and
Wow.
Yeah, so we do have like quite a big, broad range of equipment.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a pretty broad gambit of equipment.
Yeah,
and even we have Boo Buddy as well.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
Gotta love Boo Buddy. He's super creepy, right?
Yeah. So.
On your lap. Can I hold your hand? Oh God.
I know. A lot of people end up turning him off halfway through the night, but.
Well, I have to admit, Susie and the team up in Reno went on an investigation, and the Boo Buddy got kind of on one investigator's nerves a little bit, so she locked him in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh, I have a funny story to tell you guys and Sharmaine. So speaking of Boo Buddy, so after that experience where she locked him in the bathroom, so we went on a different investigation a few months later or a year later or whatever it was at the Goldfield Hotel here in Nevada. And we had the Boo Buddy, and we also had walkie-talkies. And I thought I'd play a little joke on her. She was on the second floor and I was on the first floor. So I started playing his voice on the walkie-talkie to freak her out. It was
Oh, that would have been freaky for her.
Yeah, it's really funny. Well, he is really creepy. I don't know how you feel about the Buddy though, but what's your favorite piece of equipment that y'all use there on the tours?
Me personally, I like the divining rods. Don't know why. Yeah, I just do. I just feel like, well, you're in control of the divining rods. So that would probably be my favourite. And then I would say the spirit box. I like the SB7 and the SB11. So I'm starting to, get some good responses from that lately. So I always have done. Do you guys use those or?
I've only experimented with the rods one time. I don't own any, but somebody brought them along on one of our investigations. I do enjoy playing with the SB7. Brian will differ. Go ahead, Brian.
Is he rolling the eyes?
No. I particularly don't like any of the spirit boxes or the ghost boxes, and that's just my personal feelings about it. It's too easy to pick up frequency or words from live frequencies, radio stations and stuff.
Yes.
So I don't like messing with those. And I've always told Susie that if she ever gets it to say, "Hi, Brian, welcome," I will be a 100% believer in it. And in 10 years, this has not happened.
Well, because I haven't asked the question yet, Brian. But you know what? On my next investigation, I'm going to say,
yes.
Spirits, say hi to Brian. Say his name. I enjoy using it. I think it's fun, but I don't use it a whole lot. Like, I'll play around with it for maybe about 20 minutes, and then I'll go to something else because it's distracting. And
it is, yep.
Having a lot of equipment could be quite distracting. I'm kind of like a medium psychic, and I like to kind of focus on my feelings.
Yeah, your own senses, yep.
Yeah, I kind of want to use my body as a piece of equipment versus, concentrating on so much other things like techie stuff. But yeah, I do like playing around with it. What I really like is because I'm really great at analyzing audio, and that's kind of been my forte for, like 10 years. I love it. And what I like to do with the SB7 is record that SB7, session, and then go back on my program, Audacity, and slow down some of the responses and figure out what they're saying. Because, if you like the SB7 or SB11, it's hard to understand what they're saying.
It is, yeah. Yep. Yeah, most definitely. So but I'm a little bit like you. I like to use my senses as well. I'd rather just sort of go in, sit in a room, shut the door, and be in complete darkness and just, see what you hear, feel, see.
Yeah, that's the way I like to go in to do an investigation myself. Is I'll go in and I want to get a feel for the location. So I'll sit in a room or a location by myself just so I can actually get used to the noises that I hear, because all buildings talk to a certain extent. They may creak in the wind and stuff. So you have to kind of get yourself in tune to that. And then you start your recorder. Sometimes you even start it before, because there have been teams that's gotten EVPs before they even set up all their equipment.
Yeah, That's right.
So yeah, I like to go into the place and get a feel for it, and then open up and start doing my thing.
Yep, totally agree.
I want to ask the chatters really quick, what do you guys think about all that? You know, do you enjoy the equipment more so than using, you know, yourself as the main, I guess you could say, the main piece of equipment? What do you chatters think? And what's your favorite piece of equipment? What do you guys think?
And I'll go ahead and throw out there. This is kind of a challenge to help me change my mind. If any team out there that uses the SB7, SB11, if they can get it to say, "Hi, Brian," I will become a 100% believer in it.
let's all take the challenge. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Take the challenge. I have a question. Is taboo? What do you guys do with like Ouija boards or tarot cards or anything like that? Do you use those on your tours, or how do you feel about those devices?
No, we don't. We don't use those. It's just something that we've never done. You know, I don't disagree with them, but we are sort of got something in the pipeline that I'm looking at doing some different style of tours at Willow Court. So we have introduced table tipping over the last over the last sort of 12 months, and that has been amazing. I can tell you now, amazing at Willow Court. So yeah, that's something that we've introduced, new to the tours. But yeah, I'm always open up for suggestions, you know, and different ideas. So I just want to make good use of the site, you know. So I just want to try and do some different style of tours. And yeah, I am looking at, you know, like pendulums and you know, that style of investigations. So yeah, I'm looking into it.
I've never tried table tipping. Is that something that would be considered taboo along with like using the Ouija board? Like, do you have to do a seance to do that?
Yeah, we basically we start off, you know, white lighting and, you know, having our you know, our archangels, you know, come and protect us. Yeah, you do the whole, you know, as what you were saying. So you are opening up a communication, I guess, channel. And yeah, I sort of just see it as just a different form of communication, really. You know, they're using the table. You know, I'll ask a question and for a yes answer, I'll ask them to tip the table into my lap, for example. And for a no answer, you know, tip in the opposite direction. We've actually had, you know, we get the table to turn, you know, turn on the floor. And we've actually walked the other night. We was actually walking with the table. The table was, it was amazing to see. I've never done that before, but the table, it's only like a 3-legged table, so you have to choose a particular table. And for this table to actually, like, one leg would lift up, spin, turn, and come back down. We actually got the table to, you know, walk from a period, you know, from a distance of, you know, a few feet, you know, quite a few feet, and then back again. We asked the spirits to bring it back to where we was actually sitting. So that was,
wow.
I know, that was pretty amazing. So
how do you explain that, Brian, when that's happening?
Yeah, tell me, how do they do that?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. But yeah, I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you guys ever done table tipping before, or?
No, I haven't.
No. Okay. Yep.
I'm not the one end of. I don't do the pendulum. I
No.
don't know enough about it to use it. So therefore, I won't. And the same thing with the Ouija board. Same thing with um, what is it? The scry writing, automatic writing. I don't know enough.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it yet to use it in my investigations. If I knew more about it and felt more confident with it, then yeah, I would probably try to use something like that.
Yeah, and a lot of those items are considered super taboo here in the States, for sure. A lot of teams, a lot of investigators will not. They won't even use the pendulum, But I'm gonna start using one because my best friend Lisa got me one for my birthday recently, and it seems to want to listen to me. So I'm gonna start learning how to use that. But as far as like table tipping or the Ouija board, or even sometimes with tarot cards and things like that, they're kind of taboo in a lot of investigators' ways. Yeah. Tina, I wanted to comment really quick on Tina's comment because we were asking the chatters about equipment and stuff, and she said, for me, it depends on the location. If there's a lot of activity, I'll use the equipment.
I have to agree with her 100%. It all depends on the location. I myself, I only rely on basically 2 pieces of equipment and then all my senses, and it's not in that order. I use my DVR cameras. I'll set them up in locations and stuff and let those go for the whole entire investigation. I use my audio recorder, and then I just use my senses, ears, eyes, nose, and touch. And whatever happens, then I'll go with that.
Yeah, definitely. Even I'm just been experimenting on some of my tours as well. What we'll do is like a deprivation sort of experiment. I'll put 2 people into one of the to the patient rooms. I'll actually blindfold one of them, and I'll put earplugs in another. So then they're sitting in a completely dark room on their own. One's relying on their visual, their vision, and one's relying, on what they can hear, because I've taken their sight away, and I've also taken their hearing away. So that's something new that I've been trying on tours lately. And, just to give people that opportunity just to use their senses, rather than equipment.
That is brilliant. I love that. I was going to ask you that question too. Like, what kind of experiments do you guys do?
Yeah. So, they've been, this is just something new that we've introduced. And, as you say, just get people to use their senses more than, as you know too, though, you don't always rely on one piece of equipment. You have to have multiple, and the best tool is yourself.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that over the years, we've kind of started to take our own personal senses for granted. And so it's good that we're starting to all get back into that perspective. I used to have a lady on the team. Remember Dora, Brian?
She was blind, yeah.
She was invaluable part of the team because she would hear things, man, that I could never hear. She would hear things. Oh, it was such a joy to have her on the team.
Wow.
I like Jeffrey's comment. I think paranormal investigators should stick with scientific methods and leave seances, Ouija boards, tarot cards, etc. in the dark ages. Science trumps superstition and mythology every time. Yes, I do like that, but yeah, I like playing with the other things too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Is that you got to play around. I mean, you got to make the investigations fun, and you got to.
Oh yeah,
Other
yeah,
things,
you do. Yeah, because once you start making it more of a okay, this is my standard operating procedures and
like
everything.
Like a robot.
It starts becoming a job. It doesn't become fun anymore. And that's one thing that I do is I like to go out and have fun. Um, and if I catch something, that's a bonus. If not, you know what? I was still having a blast just going out and let's say I was in a cemetery. I got to look at all these headstones that were dated back to such and such date, Civil War soldiers, tombstones and stuff. And it's just, it's history for me. And I love that.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about Jeffrey Boyd's comment, Sharmaine?
Yeah, I pretty much. I haven't tried, seances, Ouija boards, or tarot cards, or any of that either. So I can't sort of really comment on that because I've never tried it myself. And because I'm sort of more in the with the tours, I haven't introduced things like that because I do know how some people do react to those type of methods.
Oh,
so so I won't bring them into a tour as such. So, but yeah, for paranormal investigators, I'm quite open to try anything, as an individual investigator. So, yeah.
Tina says, my best friend and I are going to use how do you pronounce that? Estes method on our next event. You see that, Brian?
Yeah, I do see that. I'm actually looking that up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Well, maybe if I need the definition, I might know what that is. You don't know, Sharmaine?
No, I don't know either. Yeah.
We're going to find out. So, okay, let me ask you this. How would you react to if one of your guests came in, because you said they're allowed to bring their own equipment, at this point right now in time, if they came in with like a Ouija board or something, would you allow them to bring it in and use it?
No, because it was funny enough. One of my guests, I always have guests, message me and say, oh, can I bring this? Can I bring that? I prefer if they do ask, firstly, because tours and investigations are different. I have to keep everyone, in mind. So if someone's, bringing in a Ouija board onto a tour, it's not part of our tour, So I had somebody ask me the other night if they could bring their spirit board, not a Ouija board, but a spirit board. So on tour, and I said, unfortunately, no, we don't allow those type of, experiments on tour. So that's probably one thing that I don't allow. Anyone can bring their own, sort of, cameras and digital voice recorders and all that type of equipment, but unfortunately, I haven't allowed, spirit boards or Ouija boards.
Well, you're not the only one. I mean, I know that there are several locations here in the States, especially the Goldfield Hotel,
that won't let you bring them in. Yeah.
They state on their websites that you're not allowed to bring tarot cards, Ouija board, and that's pretty much the extent of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this method is sensory deprivation methods coupled with a form of nearly white noise. Apparently.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Back in the heyday psi research. It was used at places like Duke University when they were doing the psi research.
Yeah, now that I know the definition, yeah.
Yeah.
My friend Michelle LeBaron actually mentioned that the mystery game should try that. So maybe we will.
I know that when I go through my audio, I sort of do that to a certain extent. I will close my eyes, have my headphones on. I'll have the volume turned up to a loud but still tolerable volume, and then I'll put my hands over my headphones, pushing them more into my ear, and I'll have my head down, and I'm listening without looking at what's going on my computer screen.
Yep, I do the same thing. We just had someone new come in, 23.
Narnia.
Yeah, Nadia.
Yeah, this person's from Tasmania. Welcome. We are having a fascinating talk. I'm sure you know this person, huh?
I do.
Well, we are going to be going to break in about 10 minutes. So, Brian, do you have a question? I have a few too. So.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Well, because we haven't yet discussed this location's Willow Court. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it Willowbrook. Willow Court Asylum. We haven't discussed its haunts. What are the most common haunts that occurred there according to your guests, or whatever. I know I was doing some, hi Kathy, Waples. When I was doing research, I heard that 2 people went in there and hung themselves, and they haunt there. And so I'm just kind of wondering, what are some of the most common haunts that occur there?
And then we'll get to Jeffrey's question also, which is, what's your opinion on matrixing?
Okay. Yep. So basically, I just want to know what the main experiences that my guests sort of have on tour. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Probably the most common, a lot of people get touched, and hearing of laughter, giggles. I often hear quite a lot of giggling, a little girl giggling. So yeah, I would say a lot of voices, and yeah, a lot of touching. There is a lot of touching that goes on with our guests. I'll often, people messaging me saying, that they had their hair pulled or had their trousers tugged on. I've even had people, one guest even said he got licked on the back of the neck.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a 21-year-old boy. He came in with his mates on tour. They were all, pretty well, coming all strutting, oh yeah, I'm a tough sort of group, and then at the end of the night he got creeped out because one of the spirits actually licked him on the back of the neck. So yeah, so from that, what else? Oh, yeah, I would probably say that's probably the most common ones I do hear from our guests is being touched. So
that doesn't seem too dangerous. I mean, that seems kind of, not horrifying type of stuff.
No, definitely not.
I don't know. Being licked, That's a bit horrifying for me.
But well, it's a little sexual sounding, but I don't think it.
Yeah, and
you know.
How does he know he was licked? I mean,
I was gonna ask that too.
He just
How do you
felt
know?
the wetness. He just
Oh.
said, he just, yeah.
He must
No.
get licked a lot from by his girlfriend or something, so he knows the feeling.
Wow.
Yeah, so no, we haven't had anything really like horrific or, you know, back in the day there was, you know, there was the odd, you know, scratch or bite marks, but this was sort of before I took over. So I don't know whether I've actually quietened the spirits down since I've been, you know, the new owner or not. That doesn't happen anymore. So yeah, I don't know, you know.
Maybe because you're so lovely, you came in and you just quieted them right down, and they're happy now, and they like the way you're doing things. So yeah, hi Nikki, hi Nikki.
And it all goes back to that one saying, "Beauty calms the beast."
Yeah. So you know, I'm hoping that I have done that, and yeah, so it's good.
I have to tell you though, from looking at these pictures, I would be really scared to go in. Like, this is a beautiful and, like you said, gothic. It's splendidly creepy, I guess you could say. So you look at it and you're like, oh, it's beautiful, but it looks really terrifying. It does, especially, you know, overnight, because it's also got a 5-meter high wall airing yard at the back. So, because that building was the criminally insane building for the males of the asylum. So they had this massive big airing yard, but a big 5-meter concrete wall surrounded the yard, so they couldn't see in, no one could see out. It had a rolled top as well on the top to avoid escaping as well. So, yeah. They would have only seen the, you know, the sky. Sad.
Yes.
Well, let's hit on Jeffrey's question before we go to our little break. So, what is your opinion of matrixing? I think he's asking you, Sharmaine, but I mean, Brian and I can chime in too.
Well, my matrixing, I find that like pareidolia. It's something that our minds play tricks on us with, and so as an investigator, we have to always keep that in consideration, and that's why I have either other people listen to my audio or other people take a look at my pictures or my video going, okay, what do you see? And I won't tell them anything. I said, okay, it's between here and here, and go for it. And but usually I am able to throw things out more often than not before I have to worry about something like that.
When in doubt, throw it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you think, Sharmaine?
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I'm always, you know, trying to debunk, you know, everything, you know, as you say. I like to, because sometimes you see people, they pop their EVPs, you know, on screen, and they'll actually put the word in there, you know, they'll have the word typed in there for, you know, what, and I prefer that not to be there, because I want to actually hear it for myself to see if it is what it's saying, you know, rather than, oh, did you hear them say, you know, Brian? You know, so then you hear something and you think that it is saying Brian, you know, it puts it into your mind, I think, you know, so doesn't it? Yeah, that's my opinion.
when I was just a new investigator and wasn't leading a team, I would not want to know anything about the location. I didn't want to.
Same.
I did not want to know what was in this room, that room, or here. Just let me know what rooms had activity, and let me go and let me see what I can come up with. After the investigation, then I would compare the two, and that would give me more validation than knowing I was supposed to hear laughter or running or footsteps in this room.
Yep.
Because your mind can and will play tricks on you
Yes.
during an investigation.
I totally agree. Yep.
Well, we're also used to patterns. Our brain wants patterns, and our brain wants to hear certain things. And so, definitely our brain will be like, oh, you're seeing this. This looks like a face when it's actually just a bush.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I love all those pictures out there on Facebook. What do you see here? I see a window with a smudge.
Yeah.
Did you see this orb? No, it's not an orb. It's a moth. It's a piece of dust.
Yeah, it's tricky for sure.
It is, because I was the same when I first started. Like every picture, I saw, oh my God, look, I've got an orb, So, but you soon learn, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You start out green. I mean, Brian and I did too, and then you live and you learn.
Yep.
I have thrown away and gotten rid of more pictures, more audio, more video than what I've captured. And I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah, same. Yep.
Well, guys, it's the top of the hour. We got to go to break really quick. I did go ahead and pop the Tasmania's Most Haunted link in there again so you can check it out while we're on break. We'll be back, and when we come back, we're going to be playing some videos and stuff for you guys. So grab your headphones. Don't forget those headphones. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. See you soon.
Okay, we're good. We're on.
I'm giving Brian the finger, guys. That's what we're doing. Welcome back, everybody, to Haunting the Afterlife Radio. We are talking to the fabulous Sharmaine of Tasmania's most haunted Willow Court Asylum. And we are going to be playing some cool videos for you guys with some audio as well. And I think we're going to get started with a little video, tour-like video that Sharmaine put together of the morgue. Is that correct?
No, actually, we're gonna do some of the active ghost tour shots first.
Oh, okay, Brian. I'm so confused. Oh, wait, we got a comment, though. I'm looking at our comments since we were on break. Kathy said we heard the nurse singing in the female ward.
Yeah. Was that, what was that, Kathy? Was that Daisy? Is that correct? When we heard Daisy singing?
Look at these pictures. These are awesome pictures. Thank you, Sharmaine. Oh, look, it's Justin. Justin, hi. Thank you for coming in. You got your headphones? Oh, we got Susie, too. Hi, Susie. Grab your headphones. We're going to be playing some audio for you in a few.
So how do you get the volunteers to lay down on the autopsy table or go into the body chillers?
Well, funny enough, they pretty much volunteer themselves. I just
I would
yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah, especially in the body chiller there. So probably not as many people do get in the body chiller, but yeah, I seem to get quite a few happy to lay on the autopsy table. So
And they're not doing like Aaron did, and they close the door for 15 minutes. You stay in the body chiller.
We do shut the door. We do shut the door. Yes, if they want it shut, we will shut it. But we only let them, in there for about a minute. Sort of.
I was gonna ask how long you put them. I would want to be in there for at least like 15 minutes.
Yeah. So.
Did you say 50 minutes?
15.
Oh.
1-5, not 5-0. Hell no. Going in there 50 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't even be in my own bathroom for that long. Look how happy they look. They're like,
yeah. I think it's probably more just a photo opportunity for half of them.
You were mentioning something about the photo that was right now that's up, the one with the area rug in it.
Yes, that one there. That's in the ladies' cottage. Yes.
Okay, that's the ladies' cottage, and that was there at Willow Court also.
Yes. Yep. All the photos that you're seeing are at Willow Court. So, so the ones in the body chiller and the autopsy table, like that one there, that's in the morgue. But that other one is in the ladies' cottage. So that's, for example, with my tours, I do 2 buildings per night. Mm-hmm. So these pictures that you're seeing now, so as I said, I split the groups up. So one group goes into the ladies' cottage, which is what you're looking at now. Okay, and the other group goes into the morgue. We then swap over, so it gives people the opportunity to go into both buildings on the one night. So yeah, so it's more than just one building. I like to do 2 in one night. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and go to a little video that you did for the morgue.
Yes. This sort of shows everyone what the Willow Court morgue is like. I will tell people that this morgue was built only in the 1960s, so it is quite new to the asylum. there was a mortuary and dead house in the older section of Willow Court back in the day, but it was not known whether autopsies were actually done back prior to this morgue being built. So, yeah, this morgue that you'll actually get to see footage of shortly is actually, it also accommodated for not only the Willow Court Asylum, but also the local community as well. So, yeah, yep. So the Derwent Valley community where Willow Court is.
When I first saw this video, I'm sitting there going, now what medical examiner would have a sofa in the morgue?
Yes, I know. That sofa was actually brought in by the owners. Okay, there's a little bit of history about that couch. It actually came from UK. Now, the owners of these buildings, he loves to travel around overseas and buys lots of, weird and wacky items, antiques, whatever he can get his hands on.
Yeah, I saw the one medical examine table that had the stirrups on it.
Yeah.
I did see it looked
That's
sort of like a barber
chair. That's the abortion chair, yeah.
I saw one that looked like a barber's chair. And I'll go ahead and start that video again.
I love this video, Sharmaine. It really captures the old school feel of it. I feel like I'm kind of watching a Alfred Hitchcock movie or something,
Yeah. I just whipped this up for you the other night.
It's creepy. I love it. Hi, Lisa, sister. Brian, we just went to a wrong video.
There we go. That's fine.
Yeah. If you like, I can just sort of take you through a little bit of a walkthrough. When you start it. Has anybody visited a morgue anywhere else in any other locations?
I did. It's a really funny story. I was not supposed to be down there. I broke my hand when this is like in 1985, and they had a room set up, and it was off of the emergency room, and I was supposed to go in for emergency surgery, and finally they kind of pushed it off, and I hadn't eaten anything for like 2 days. So they said, okay, you can get up and go down to the cafeteria, but come back. Well, on the way back, I got lost and I hit the wrong button and wound up in the morgue.
So scary. Justin said he's going to a funeral home in September.
We actually had some guests last night on tour that worked in a funeral home, so that was interesting.
Lisa says she wants to accidentally get lost too.
I got a feeling I'm never going to live this down there, Lisa.
Brian, I've known you forever, and I didn't even know that story.
Oh yeah, this is right after I graduated high school. I wound up with a double boxer fracture, and had to go in for surgery.
Cool story, though.
Yeah, that hospital had a lot to be desired. When they gave me an arterial block to block the pain and everything, and so they can do the surgery. Well, they had to go into the underarm to do it. They lifted my hand, my broken hand, above my head and said, hold it up. Well, of course, they just numbed it. I couldn't hold it up. It comes smashing down. It bloodies my nose on the operating table.
Oh, no.
After they fixed my hand and put the pins in it, they were bringing the portable x-ray machine in and whacked it into the top of my head because they didn't raise it up enough to get it over me. That's not the bad part. The bad part was when they took it out, they didn't raise it up high enough to get over the screen that was blocking me from seeing them do the operation. They knocked the screen over my head. And I'm laying there trying to blow this sheet off my face and everything. And the nurse rolls it back just enough to see my eyes. And she goes, what are you doing under there? You're not dead.
That made me laugh.
Oh, dear.
Oh, gosh. You guys have given Lisa these brilliant ideas, such as getting the mystery gang into a morgue and a funeral home. Lisa. No, that would be fun. That'd be fun. Just have to be really respectful.
I've got a hospital, an abandoned hospital that's probably no more than 2 hours away from me, called Yorktown, and I have to see about doing that and getting into the morgue.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Lisa said they just found a dead body at a hotel room at Circus. I want to find out which room. Of course you do, Lisa.
They always find dead bodies at Circus.
So ghetto.
Okay, so we're going to move on to a EVP clip or a.
So we're going to play it 3 times, Brian, and then let the chatters say what they think they hear. Get your headphones, guys.
Yeah, we can do that.
Or if you'd like to give us a sign, if you'd like us to leave.
I need to refresh. Shoot.
Or if you'd like to give us a sign, if you'd like us to leave. Or if you'd like to give us a sign, if you'd like us to leave. Or if you'd like to give us a sign, if you'd like us to leave. Or if you'd like to give us a sign, if you'd like us to leave. Or if you'd like to give us a sign, if you'd like us to leave. Or if you'd like to.
Okay.
While you guys decide what you heard, which room was this captured in?
I didn't hear anything, so I don't know if anyone else heard it. Did you guys hear it?
No, you did? I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I heard it. It's the one with the K2. That was the one we just played, the one with the K2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did our guests hear it?
Did you guys hear it? I heard it. Well, I'm not going to say what you think.
No, well, this was basically taken in the morgue. Okay, so yeah, so that K2 is actually sitting on the autopsy table, and somebody was just videoing it with their phone. Okay, so yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if anybody picks up on anything.
Chatters, what did you hear?
Or
Sharmaine?
if you need me to play it again, let me know.
Yeah, we'd be happy to play it again if you guys want. Come on, guys. Well, I heard something. So this was oh, Justin said Brian Sweet. I think Brian wants you, or I think Justin wants you to play it again.
Or if you'd like to give us a sign, if you'd like us to leave. Or if you'd like to give us a sign, if you'd like us to leave. Or if you'd like to give us a sign, if you'd like us to leave. Or if you'd like to give us a sign, if you'd like us to leave. Or if you'd like.
Are we done playing it, or is it still playing? I got a lag, of course, as you know. I always have a lag on YouTube.
We're good.
Okay. 23 Nardia says, "I heard a faint male voice, but can't make out what is being said." Justin said, "I hear a breathy male voice." Nikki says, "Oh snap! Hi, Lisa. Sorry, my freeze froze." So I agree. I hear as soon as Sharmaine says leave, like us to leave, I hear a very breathy, whispery. What an honest EVP that is. I mean, it's just, it's good. I hear it. I don't know what it's saying. If it's saying no, maybe. But what do you think, Sharmaine?
I think everyone's pretty much said something. I believe it says the word Sarah.
Oh, why would it say Sarah?
Because in this particular morgue, we have a resident spirit by the name of Sarah.
Oh.
Okay, so, but that's me, you know, that might be that matrixing, don't know, you know, so that's why I always like, you know, somebody else to hear, what it says.
Well, I definitely heard something. I would have to analyze it on my program to try and determine what it's saying, but I heard it. Brian didn't hear it, though. Brian?
Sorry.
I mean, did you hear
I'm going deaf.
I'm just wondering if you heard it the second time you played it.
Okay, we're ready to go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful doll. Beautiful doll. Beautiful doll. Beautiful doll. Beautiful doll.
I can't hear these either on my end, so when you just let me know which one it is.
Beautiful doll. Beautiful doll. Beautiful doll. Beautiful doll.
Okay.
Okay, so
Beautiful doll.
Sharmaine, this is the doll one.
Okay, yep. And it pops up.
Yeah, what do you guys hear? I know what I hear. If you need us to play it again, just let us know. Nikki says, yeah, I can't make it out, but yeah, it's there for sure. What's there for sure, Nikki? Like, did you hear like a male or female, or what did you hear? 23 Nardia says, in Mandy room, saying beautiful doll is what she said.
Oh, so it's the recording where I say it's a beautiful doll, and then
yes.
Yep, okay, yep.
What you guys hear?
If you need me to play it, let me know and I'll play it again.
I'm just going to say this, it kind of creeps me out. Kind of makes me want to have nightmares. Sometimes there's a lag. It takes them a while to respond.
Yeah. Yep.
Or a while for me to see what's going on in chat. Well, Brian, what did you hear? Did you hear anything this time?
No. My ears are ringing really big time tonight.
Okay.
Well, Kathy Waple says yes, Daisy.
Oh, that's probably for my response to she heard a nurse singing in Willow Court.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to say I heard a really creepy voice. I don't know what it was saying, but it sounded like a man saying something creepy. I don't know. It just sounded creepy to me. It was like kind of like a groaning noise. That's what I heard.
Yep.
Is that what?
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. So
it's like what, Bray?
Oh, I was looking at chat and everything. With the nurse singing, it had to have been really, really clear if y'all were singing it also.
Yeah, do you want to explain what you actually heard, Kathy? But yeah, that last DVP, that what you could hear, that noise we often hear quite a lot at Willow Court. It's like we hear like a lot of moaning, growls. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that almost sounds like it could have been someone breathing on like a respirator or something, or a not too friendly thing saying, yes. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm a little bit like you. I'm sort of like, is that like I don't know, it's a cross between a growl and I don't know. It's hard to describe, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Justin says he also heard it, and he describes it as a growling.
As growling as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Do we want to go to the next one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Bye, Mandy. Bye, Alex. Bye, Mandy. Bye, Alex.
Is this the next one?
Bye, Mandy. Bye, Alex.
Yeah, because the next one looks very similar because it was taken on the same night. So.
Bye, Mandy. Bye, Alex. Bye, Mandy. Bye, Alex.
Oh, this is, you were saying bye to somebody.
Yep.
Either bye or
Okay.
hi.
Yep. Yeah.
And then I actually hear something in this one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's another nice, honest EVP. What do you guys hear? Again, let us know if you want us to play it again. Anybody? Did you hear this one, Bri?
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, I think this was the first one that I downloaded and everything, and I was listening to them as I was downloading them, and I heard this one. I went, what? What was that?
So this one's like higher pitch, Brian, so it seems to me like you're not hearing the lower pitch ones, but you're hearing the higher pitch ones.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They said that I'm losing my lower tones,
Wow.
and that's where my tinnitus is in the lower volumes. So.
Well,
Okay.
23 Nadia says she heard it. What did you hear, though? Let us know if you did hear something like what it said. I heard it. I want to say what it. I think it said. I'm so impatient. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's really interesting when Nikki said, "Oh, that's creepy as all H."
23 Nardia says sounds like bye. BYE. Nikki says she heard growl. I wonder if she's responding
To the first one.
Oh,
Yeah, the last one.
That. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't make out if it was saying hi or bye. But now that you're saying bye, yeah, then that's what it was. What it sound like it would be.
Yeah. I heard
but
bye.
It's a female voice.
Mm-hmm. Well, to me, it sounded like a little girl.
Yeah, but I mean, a little girl is female, right?
Yeah. I'm just specifying. I heard like a child. Did you guys hear a child? Oh, Nikki said a male voice.
A male voice. Huh. I'll have to listen to it again.
Yeah.
Over and over. Want to play it again? We'll play it again.
Bye, Mandy, bye, Allison. 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 Bye, Mandy. Bye, Alison. Bye, Mandy. Bye, Alison.
Now listening to it with the volume all the way cranked up. Maybe that's why I'm deaf. I do hear something in between Sharmaine and the other EVP.
Yeah, I do.
But I can't make out what it's saying.
To me, it sounds like a female, like an older female humming or something. Was that, Sharmaine, was that any of you guys going?
I'm just trying, because I can't hear it. I think it was because there was a couple of guests saying goodbye to the spirit that they were communing with at the time. So I think it says, just correct me if I'm wrong, does it say goodbye, Mandy?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, and then that's when I thought I heard something after they said goodbye to Mandy.
Yeah, I hear goodbye, Mandy, bye, and then I hear it almost sounds like an older lady saying and then I hear a little girl saying bye. And
okay.
Then
yep.
Justin says he hears get out of here. That's creepy.
Yeah. They probably do tell that to us on quite a few occasions. We have heard them, yeah.
Yeah, I know they do with us too. Kathy Waple said something. She heard something, but not sure. Yeah, I swear I hear bye, Mandy, bye, or something like that, and then a lady going, and then a little girl going,
and then a little, yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, I hear.
Who's going?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that was anybody because we was just in that room. And the guest said, yeah, that's right. They said goodbye, Mandy. Goodbye, Alice. That's right. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then I hear something in the background like a little child going bye. Right at the end, as if they're saying goodbye to them.
Yeah, I definitely heard that.
Yeah. Yep.
For sure.
But I haven't heard that little bit in between, so I'll definitely listen to that as well.
Yeah, listen to it. I mean, it could be that it was just a guest talking in between or whatever.
Yeah.
But Brian heard it too. So.
Yeah. Yep.
We had a question from Jeffrey, but then he
retracted it.
Disappeared. Jeffrey. Kathy Whipple said, sound like an exhale. Do we have any more EVPs, Brian?
Nope, that's it.
No, sorry, that was the only 3 I provided.
No, I was just wondering, do we have any more videos? Nikki?
Nope, that's all I got.
Nikki B said, yep, I heard a child's voice or a young person saying bye.
Yeah, yep.
So, I'm curious, her name's Mandy, right?
Yeah, the little spirit that they would have been talking to. There's a couple of little child spirits there. We was in the ladies' cottage where the ladies' cottage was used for superior class female patients of Willow Court. Now, yes, and we just sort of find, that there was lots of children in there as well in the asylum. So this particular spirit that we're talking about, Mandy, she's a 9-year-old girl. We don't know why she was there or anything like that, but she just comes through quite regularly to us. And same with another little girl, Alice. So they seem to hang around together. So we find that when we do communicate, and that actual footage shows you, we sort of classed it as Mandy's room. Okay, so there's a doll there. You would have seen Boo Buddy as well, sitting with the doll. So we like to, sit Boo Buddy in Mandy's room, and with a DVR, and hopefully capture something, her talking. And that voice that you actually heard, we've actually heard that on quite a few occasions. So it's not just a one-off voice, that same level of voice comes through quite regularly. So which makes us, believe it is one of them. We don't know if it's Mandy or we don't know if it's Alice. But I can confirm that, we've heard that same voice come through on a few occasions. So it's not just the one-off.
So how did you collect the names? Was that off of investigations, EVPs, or was that off of just doing history?
Basically, the name come through on the Ovulus one particular day through an investigation there. So that name Mandy came up, and we've also had psychic mediums as well to Willow Court, and they have confirmed that, yes, it is Mandy.
Okay.
Yep. So just through investigation as where we've become to know that she is 9 years old.
Okay.
She's told, so she's sort of told us that she's 9. She always wishes that she would like to be 10, but she never got to the age of 10.
Oh, that just gave me chills.
I know. Yeah, so so it's basically, through tours, through investigations that we've sort of obtained this information.
That's very cool. I like that.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Well,
go ahead, Brian.
Jeffrey asked, how reliable are EVPs since most are garbled and nearly impossible to understand? Is that an open question to all three of us? If it is, we'll go ahead and let Sharmaine answer first, Susie, and then I'll take the last.
Basically, I agree with Jeffrey. EVPs are always so hard to determine if it is real or not. That's why I don't have many, EVPs to sort of put forward, because you just don't know, do you? You just never know whether it is or not. Or have you guys ever heard a Class A EVP?
You want me to
Brian
go,
or Susie?
Go ahead,
have you
Susie.
ever had? Yep.
Okay, so addressing the question, how reliable are EVPs and Smiths are garbled and nearly impossible to understand. I've actually encountered many Class A EVPs. I have had some garbled noises, and when they're garbled and I can't hear them, I throw them out. I don't even consider them EVPs, honestly.
No.
So, but I put them on my program and I analyze over and over and over again. I play around with them, but honestly, in just listening to them without even enhancing or anything, if I can make out what they're saying, or if I can at least make out whether the voice is female or male, and it's loud and clear, I consider it a Class A. I've had a lot of those. A lot. So, but like I said, if it sounds garbled to me, and I can barely hear it, I throw it out. So if it's a Class C, I don't know, Sharmaine, if you guys do Class A, Class B, Class C, like we do, but if I feel like it's a Class C, what is that noise I'm hearing? Weird. If it's a Class C, I usually throw Class C's out. So, like the EVP that we just heard of, it sounded like a child saying bye, I would consider that actually a B, a Class B, because even though it's not super loud, I can still understand that it's saying bye or something close to saying that. So I would consider that a B. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah.
Your turn, Ryan.
Yeah, I have to sort of agree on the classifications. If I get something and I can understand what it's saying, and if it's male or female, without any amplification or anything, then I will consider that an A. If I can hear syllables, can't understand what it's saying, but still be able to tell if it was male or female, I would classify that as a B. If I just hear something and can't make it out, I throw it out. So I only look at class A and Bs. And I do agree with you that a lot of them are garbled. And I hate to say it, a lot of the paranormal television shows play such crappy EVPs saying that they're A's or B's and everything and can make these things out. And all I hear is white static, white noise. Yeah. And I think they give a bad connotation to other paranormal teams out there that are just starting out and go, well, Zach caught this one and it sounded like this, and he said it was such and such. And I hate to say it, but a lot of them are garbled. A lot of them are utter crap. And other ones, I mean, I've got one. I was standing at a little girl's grave, at her grave plot, and somebody had built concrete benches and sat down at the foot of her gravesite. And then there was like little concrete teddy bears and ducks and flowers and everything. And I was just talking out loud going, they must have really loved her to want to spend so much time with her that they built these benches there. And probably 10, 15 seconds after I said that, I got a smell of cigarette smoke, and then a sentence saying, Jeff Sullivan did that. And
wow.
That was the only thing that I could actually correlate that to, was me saying about the benches. And then somebody saying, well, Jeff Sullivan did that. And
and I remember hearing that several times.
And
very good. Even though it wasn't super loud, but you could make out the words very clearly.
Yeah. And it really surprised me because I wasn't expecting anything. But yeah, that happened. So things like that, I would consider an A, because I understood every single word and who said it. And till this day, I don't know who this Jeff Sullivan is. And I have researched this cemetery for months and nothing. And then I've heard other teams get some really, really good EVPs. One of them is William Tabone. Actually has some really, really good EVPs out there, I believe, on his website. So yeah, again, my classification is if you can understand every word they're saying without amplification, you can tell if it's a male or female. I would consider that a class A. Class Bs, okay. It's you can't understand what it's saying. You can hear syllables, or you have to amplify your other EVP to make it a Class B. So yeah, and I only deal with the two, A and B.
Yeah, Class C's.
Yep.
Throw them out. Kathy Waple said, now I think she's having a lag, which does happen. She is commenting on the last EVP that was played. She said, we heard her humming. It was very loud and clear. I turned to see who it was and saw a glimpse of an auburn-haired woman disappear into the nurse's station. She says there seems to be a lag in the video chat, but she also heard a child say goodbye.
Yeah, I would love to see an apparition. I've seen shadows. I've seen shadow people. I've had rocks thrown at me. I've been tripped up, but I've never seen an apparition.
I've seen apparitions. Sharmaine, have you seen any apparitions?
Yeah, I did for my first time here probably 6 months ago in the ladies' cottage. That was the first time I ever have done. And yeah, that's the only one I have.
What did it look like?
It was like what you see in photos. It was like a ghostly type, see-through type figure. It was a nurse in a nurse's uniform back in the days, like a 19th century, nurse's uniform. She just walked into one of the rooms. I was just sitting on the stairs in the ladies' cottage. I was on my own. It was just during the day. And, and I just happened to look up and she just walked into that room and, So first time, I was pretty rapt with that.
How did that, that's what I was gonna ask you. How did that make you feel?
Yeah.
Well, when I sort of first looked at it, I thought, how you always think, oh, did I really just see that? It's, you always question and doubt yourself, don't you? Whether that was just, So, it took me a few minutes to think, no, I did see what I did see. So, it was pretty amazing.
You have to give yourself credit because it is so common to doubt yourself. And there's got to be times when you got to give yourself credit and just say, yeah, I really did just see that. That really happened.
Yeah.
And once you give yourself credit for that, you'll notice that you're going to start to see things more and more and more because the spirits, I think, pick up on that you're like, oh, wow, I'm believing in you,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, as I said, I was going to Willow Court for, a good couple of years before I became the owner. And I guess just becoming the owner now and I have more control over the site, I think I've changed the myself and I think I'm just opening up more now, because I'm taking hold of it. It is mine, I can do, and create more interactions with the spirits there and just be more personal. And I just call it my second home. I just have a real connection with the place. So, yeah.
So it's kind of like your baby, huh?
It is. It is.
I think we all have to have our babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to have mine, and I really recommend to all you investigators to have your babies and to cherish their babies, and they'll help you grow. So much. True.
Yeah, it is.
And just make sure that your team likes them also.
Yes, definitely. That does help.
It's not always the case, though. Brian didn't like my baby, and I have.
Well, you have to think about it. Her baby, every time I went there, and it was numerous times, I had a rock thrown at me every single time, or I get tripped up.
Oh, so they didn't like you.
I am walking in a room, nothing on the floor and everything, and I get tripped up going through a hallway. And right after that, there was sort of a evil type of laugh that was caught on the EVP.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know what, Brian?
They love ladies.
Yeah.
They're at the house. I mean, they showed themselves to the ladies, and it was a big black figure about 6.5, 7 feet tall.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, you know, Lisa's found a baby that I don't necessarily like, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue to go there with her and see if we can figure out what's going on there. But I mean, we were out there last Saturday, and I was attached to by two spirits, and I didn't like that very much.
No. Okay. Yep.
But it's her baby. And so, kind of like you, Brian, you went out with me because I was like, come on, Brian, let's go to my baby. And you're like, okay, because I know you're going to go out there with or without me, so I'm going to go with you. And I'm the same way with Lisa. She's like, got to go to my baby. And I'm like, it's a fascinating place. It's very much like my baby, Brian. But anyways, we've got to wrap up. We've only got 2 minutes left. So we just want to, of course, encourage you guys to go out to the Facebook page, which I've been posting several times in the chat for Tasmania's Most Haunted. If you can, make it out there. So I wish I could.
Oh, yeah. I would go out there in a heartbeat.
Me too. And
That's a flight from here, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
But I would love to one day just at least make it somewhere out in that area.
I want to travel more, and I've been to Australia once with the military. Haven't made it to New Zealand. Made it to Canada, but yeah, I would love to get down and
come on down under.
Yeah, Mr. Guacamole stuffed unicorn.
Huh?
I'm like, huh? What?
What? Yeah, that's what I just
Dead.
huh?
Oh, somebody in chat, Mr. Guacamole stuffed unicorn. Hi, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi. I haven't
sorry.
seen that person.
No, I didn't either.
Who is that?
But I want to thank you for coming onto the show. You're an absolutely wonderful lady. I would love to get to know you better and come out and do this ghost tour with you. I hope you find a lot more stuff at this location, Willow Court. And I hope that you'll be able to find other locations and be able to start doing ghost tours at those places. And you're more than welcome to come back on the show anytime.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for inviting me on. It's been a blast. You know, these, as you said, 2 hours just goes by that quickly. We could sit here for hours and talk.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. So,
that's why.
yeah.
Well, that gives us a reason to have you back on in the future.
It does.
You know, and I want to say thank you so much, and thank you for sharing your experiences, and thank you for sharing this amazing location with us, and thank you for the audio and the video and everything. So, guys, next show we're going to be having is on August 2nd. We are going to be having Richard Lenny Who is Richard Lenny, Brian?
Oh, he's a ufologist from England. Such a wonderful man. He actually turned me on to watching Missing 411. And it was absolutely amazing. I cannot get enough of this now. And if people don't know about this, it was a book written, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but it was dealing with the missing people from national parks and all about them doing the search and rescue and stuff. And then all of a sudden, either they show up alive or they're found deceased, but in areas that had been searched prior and over again and everything. And there are hundreds, if not thousands, of cases of people gone missing in national forest.
Wow.
So if you're interested, look up Missing 411 on the internet and read a little bit about it and everything. And it's such an interesting thing. They do actually have a documentary on Netflix. I believe it's on Netflix, or it might be on Hulu.
Wow.
And we don't often have ufologists on our show. We try to get them as often as we can, but we've had Richard Lenny on our show, and it was back in the day when we first got started, and we almost had the military trying to shut down the network while we were doing the show.
This was back when we were with the other network, and when we had him on the show, the servers got attacked with denial of service attacks. So somebody was just trying to flood our servers so bad to shut them down. And it was the network guy. He worked for an hour and a half blocking these attacks.
Wow.
And so if you get a chance, listen to Mr. Lenny, and
definitely.
I don't think he'll be able to take down YouTube though, so hopefully we won't have any issues. I mean, but yeah, so I'm really excited to have him back on. So ufologist, he's amazing again, Richard Lenny. And also, I want to remind you guys to join our Haunting the Afterlife Radio group page. Come on, join the fun, guys. Become member. And then team announcements. Brian, do you have any announcements for the Mr. Gang?
No, I don't have any announcements. I just want to say that all of our archive shows are out there on YouTube. So if you've missed anything, go out, take a look at them. And I ask, just go out and look at all the guest pages on Facebook. Give them a like, join their groups and everything, and keep in contact with these individuals, because they are out there and with their integrity and doing such a wonderful job with getting more people involved with the paranormal.
Yeah.
Unity. Well, I want to give a quick shout out to our Haunting the Afterlife winners. I did go live earlier today, and we played a trivia day about tonight's show. And I have two winners, Mary Hinman and Stacy Santry. They are honorable members of Haunting the Afterlife Radio for 2 weeks and may post as often as they like, as long as it's paranormal related. team announcements for me as far as Reno, Nevada goes. No investigations coming up, but Lisa and I are going to Santa Cruz in 1 week. So we will be going live from there at a bunker, military bunker, that is on the very edge of a cliff, Devil's Cliff. So that'll be fun. We'll be going live throughout our whole adventure there in Santa Cruz, NorCal, of course. So if that's something that you think might be fun, join us live on the Mystery Gang page. But that's all I have. I want to thank you again, Sharmaine, so much for being amazing. And like I said before, for joining us and offering all of your experiences and your audio and visual and info and everything. So with that, I appreciate you all. Love all you chatters, all you listeners, everybody. And I want to wish you all love and light and peace.
Yes. As well, been excellent. And yeah, to everyone out there, anyone ever in Tasmania, please look me up. I'll be happy to show you around the Willow Court Asylum. Yeah, I hope to meet one and every one of you all one day soon. And thank you guys. It's been amazing.